This was day one on the Celiac cruise.
Aboard Royal Caribbean's Independence of the Seas that has bars, candy shops, and plenty of pizza. This giant vessel holds about 5,000 people, and over 600 of them were part of the Celiac cruise group. We'll talk about that in a minute because I'm starving. We mosey into the main dining room where the entire Deck 5 was served 100% gluten-free food. Not a crumb or sip of gluten is allowed in the dedicated dining areas for the Celiac cruise. And with full tummies, we made our way to meet the rest of the gluten-free gang at the Welcome Expo.
Thank you for being part of this. We have some very excited people today.
That's Connie, who partnered with Maureen in 2018 to make this all happen. And this is Shar, and this is Cauliflower, and this is Wild Baking, and this is Holidaily Brewing, and Celiac Disease Foundation, and the Phil Hates Gluten team, who are welcoming the fellow wheat, barley, and rye despisers. It was so cool and surreal to meet and chat with all of you guys. And then it was off to the room to check out the bed and see how comfy it was.
Beautiful views.
And then finally to the outside main deck for the sail away, which is absolutely lit. They had gluten-free beer at every bar on the ship, which made us very happy. We waved goodbye to the other ships and to the city of Miami, meaning our sailing has officially begun. 5 o'clock, we're back in the main dining room, ready to gobble down some gluten-free goodness. The staff at the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, from chefs, cooks, to waiters, all have been trained on celiac disease and the precautions needed to make the food safe. The sailing is 5 days long, and I'm posting a vlog for every day, so you'll see exactly what we ate and what we did on this Caribbean cruise. We have 2 destinations, and the first one is tomorrow. But it's been a really long day, so I decided to take a little cat nap. But there's live music to listen to and 10 p.m. late night snacks to eat. And as you can tell, late night snacks aren't popular at all. Cauliflower hosted a pizza night with 4 different options of gluten-free pizza, in addition to brownies, ice cream, baked goods, and desserts. How about some gluten-free buns for hamburgers and dogs and french fries and chicken fingers and fruit? If you're lame. We all stocked our plates up once again. We were absolutely not hungry at a single point on this day. Follow along for day 2 and our first destination.
This was day 2 on the Celiac cruise.
And our first destination is a perfect day at Coco Cay, an exclusive Royal Caribbean island in the Bahamas. And the Celiac Cruise Group is up early, walking and raising money for food insecurity, which affects nearly 25% of families who have a child with celiac disease. After the walk, we chose to go to Hideaway Beach, which is a brand new adults-only side of Coco Cay. It's got a huge infinity pool, the ocean, beach, live DJ, swim-up bar, and it gets pretty wild once the day gets going. But in the morning, it's very chill, and all this relaxing had me work up an appetite. So we took a quick tram ride back to the main section of Coco Cay to have some Celiac Cruise exclusive gluten-free food you can only access if you have this wristband. And I had a lot of people ask if you need to have celiac disease to join the Celiac Cruise group. The answer is no, and I'm the best example of it. I have eosinophilic esophagitis, which causes me to eat gluten-free and dairy-free, so that's why I'm here. And there's plenty of people who are friends, family, significant others of people with celiac disease with them on the trip. So if you're gluten-free or a gluten-free ally, you can join the Celiac Cruise and gain access to all the safe gluten-free food and events. Your boy's actually hosting an event tonight, and we'll get into that in a bit, but first, let's finish our food. And I want to show you the party transformation of Hideaway Beach from the morning to after. It was hype.
Bye, Coco Cay.
Back on the ship, there are gluten-free options at other restaurants on the ship, things like pastries and cauliflower pizza, which we get later. But I do get the question a lot of how is eating dairy-free on the cruise? And I find it pretty easy, but you can't eat everything on the menu like someone who is only gluten-free. So I avoided things that were heavily cheese-based or that were ice cream or pastries. That being said, a lot of options were dairy-free or even vegan, or they could easily be made with substitutions. You just gotta talk to your waiter. Now it's time for my event.
Who's this guy? Anybody know?
With the help of the amazing Char team, we set up a Tapple tournament for the tweens and teens. Say that 10 times fast. And it was an absolute blast.
First winner is Kylie.
2, 3.
After paying them $100 each for saying that on camera, I took some pictures and headed to the Star Lounge, where there was live music, but then 10 p.m. rolled around, we wanted to get some late night snack. If you're gluten-free, you know how significant it is to participate in late night snack debauchery without having to cook it yourself. It doesn't happen often. So we absolutely teleported ourselves to late night snacks pretty much every night. And then we head over to the ship's pizza place to get my parents a cauliflower pie and brought it back into the Star Lounge and munched the night away while watching some karaoke. Follow along for an eventful sailing day tomorrow. Let me know if you have any other questions about the Celiac Cruise.
This was day 3 on the Celiac cruise.
Celiac Cruises, we hope you're having fun.
It's a sailing day, so we head to the main dining room for breakfast. Every day you can either have a 100% gluten-free sit-down breakfast with a waiter in here, or a 100% gluten-free self-serve buffet breakfast if you'd rather dine quickly. After eating, we made our way to a Celiac Cruise event.
Celiac Cruise is a personal story. It's a story about my family.
Where Vanessa of Celiac Disease Foundation spit some knowledge, like some promising clinical trials in the works, and a future where we could potentially diagnose celiac without a gluten challenge. Afterwards, attorney Mary Vargas gave a fascinating presentation about celiac disease and the law. One of the coolest things about the celiac cruises is I always learn something new, which brings me to a common question that you guys want to learn. How much does the celiac cruise cost? Prices will definitely vary for these celiac cruises because there's multiple in a year, and the price depends on where it's sailing to, what cruise line it's on. Is it a giant cruise ship or a more intimate riverboat? How many nights is the sailing? How many people are you bringing? And much more. So it's hard for me to give you one answer, but I would say to look at their general pricing and availability on their site for a better idea. I'll put the link here and in the description, and you can see for yourself what the different prices are for different cabins on different sailings. Which brings me to another frequent question: how often do they have these celiac cruises? Pretty often at this point. 2025, they got like 10 sailings. I mean, look at these. Some of them are even sold out. They go to Europe, Alaska, the Caribbean, 4 nights, 7 nights, 8 nights. But back to this night, it's a silent disco night. That cracks me. If you haven't done a silent disco, you should, because it is a super unique experience. But it was a fun celiac cruise hosted event that was also a silent auction to yet again raise money to help families who struggle with food insecurity due to celiac disease, because gluten-free food is no lie like a 200% more expensive. Plus, it's way harder to find, which is why I feel incredibly fortunate to be on a cruise with 100% gluten-free food accommodation. And I'm fortunate to have gluten-free allies on this cruise with me. I also frequently get asked about kind of the demographic of people on these celiac cruises, and I'll get into that in the next video because we're running out of time. But yeah, in the meantime, let me know if you have any other questions about the celiac cruise. I'm happy to answer them in the remaining 2 videos. Absolutely smash that follow button to watch those. And yeah, we're going to Cozumel tomorrow. Can't wait.
This is day 4 on the Celiac cruise.
And we're in Cozumel, Mexico, but first we had some time to saunter around the ship and the port to look for trinkets and souvenirs. And then it was time to take a quick bus ride to a beach park called Playa Mia. But I gotta be honest, it was so hot this day and the beach was crowded, so free umbrellas were hard to find. We were only here a few hours and there also wasn't any gluten-free food options. So if I did a Cozumel excursion again, I'd rather go ATVing or swim with dolphins or something funner. Back on the ship for dinner, it was a taste of Mexico, and it was my favorite meal in the main dining room of the whole week. In the main dining room, they give you 4 options for an app, a main, and a dessert. And there's typically a vegan option for each. The menus alternated daily, like there was an Italian night, a Caribbean night, a taste of France. And as you can tell if you've watched these videos, the options of food were diverse. So what's the demographic of people on the Celiac cruise? It varies from families to solo travelers to couples on honeymoons to groups of friends, kids, teens, people in their 20s through their 70s, people from different states, countries, and more, because having to go gluten-free for health reasons doesn't affect one specific kind of person, and hopefully that person's friends and family will support them. And it's so cool to meet my fellow gluten-frees and their respective gluten-free allies on these cruises. The best part of all this is the community that's built, full of people who just get it. And if it's cool with you, let's just roll right into
day 5 on the Celiac cruise.
Our last day, and it's a sailing day back to Miami. We started the morning off with a coffee and conversation where we had tons of questions answered and a ton of advice given. I've been asked if all this gluten-free food was included in the Celiac cruise price, and the answer is yes. The only thing that you would have to pay for are the premium restaurants, like there's a sushi restaurant, a steak restaurant, but I've never personally went to any of those restaurants. I stick with the buffet and dining room food. Gluten-free ice cream cones, yeah, pretty sick. Anyways, you probably know this already, but traveling is so stressful when you have celiac disease or you're gluten-free for other reasons. You're constantly asking questions about cross-contact and contamination, wondering about what you can and can't eat. So that's what's amazing about the Celiac cruise. For as long as you're on this ship, you don't gotta worry about it, and that feels like winning the lottery. You get all the benefits of a cruise sailing, and you get to eat all the gluten-free food your little heart desires. If you want to learn more, check out celiaccruise.com for the upcoming sailings, pricing, how to book, and to ask them any questions you might have. And feel free to give your boy a follow if you enjoyed these vlogs. Bye!